Hey, so in this video we'll be doing the Easter eggs and predictions for Season 1, Episode 6 and 7 of Marvel's Inhumans. Beware spoilers if not caught up, and plus kind of maybe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So anyway, Episode 6 title is The Gentleman's Name is Gorgon, and it's a reference to Fantastic Four Volume 1, number 44, and it's a comic book cover of Gorgon trying to rescue the Fantastic Four from Medusa. I don't know exactly what the storyline's about. Maybe Medusa's mind controlled to injure the Fantastic Four for some reason. Don't know why. But the only there's only two references in this episode that I caught or Easter eggs. But you can comment down below if I missed any. But the ones I caught were uh, Dave compares Crystal to Thor, saying that she's like the god of thunder, which is perfect timing since Thor Ragnarok just recently that came out a week after that episode aired. But I would have preferred that type of reference to happen in episode 7, since that's when episode 7 aired on the same day as Thor Ragnarok actually premiering worldwide. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Uh, the only other reference was that Audrey was trying to take a photo of Crystal for the government and all that kind of stuff to put her on like a register, which uh, the only register thing we can think of is the Sokovia Accords, which I don't understand why. Like, what's called? The Netflix shows are so nervous or scared to reference any character by name. Like, but and now you have the Inhumans doing the same thing. It just seems kind of weird because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. lives in this world. You should be able to talk about these people like as their people, like I don't or people or things and stuff like that. Why do you have to not say it at all or not like say it by name? But anyway, that's just my gripe. But they finally confirmed where this is taking place, kinda, because they've always been so vague about when Inhumans is taking place. Because as of right now, the season is like 6 days, I think. I want to say 6 days, 4 days, 6 or 5 days, maybe. But uh, the only reference we had to the broader universe is from episode 1, I believe, where there's talking about how Black Bolt sent down Triton to look into all the Inhumans popping up, and it was because the water supply was contaminated by Terrigen crystals, and that happened because of season two's finale, and all the Inhumans popping up were in the aftermath of that from season 3 onwards, and then now we have the Sokovia Accords, which was the end of season 3, and then on to season 4, which there, I'm assuming it's taking place in present. I assumed it was taking place in present day because in all the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have now popped up, and if these are Inhumans, or since these are Inhumans, you would think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would get involved, but they're not. So, and the reason they probably aren't getting involved is because of season 4's finale, which I'm not going to spoil that. But they're just put it this way: they're preoccupied at the moment. They can't really go to Hawaii. But anyway, yeah, the theories I had for this episode going into season 7 or episode 7 uh, were that I was going to continue on my theory about Auron turning on Maximus and helping the royal family, where she could have used her powers and resurrected Gorgon, which I was right, but I was also kind of wrong with the way that they went about it. But my other theory was that Gorgon was going to be used like as a Trojan horse, where because in the comics, Gorgon has like this healing factor where he can heal from any injury. So I was thinking maybe Karnak was actually using uh, like having had a secret plan in place where he was gonna make the royal family think he was dead, and send Gorgon back to Adelon, be like the inside man uh, to against Maximus' army, like as like a Trojan horse type thing. But that's not how it played out, which I'm kind of glad that I didn't talk about it in a separate video. But anyway, and episode 7 had no references at all that I could catch. So I'm going to be stretching here, but uh, episode 7's title is Havoc in the Hidden Land, and it's a reference to Fantastic Four Volume 1, number 159. I don't know what that's about. I'm assuming it's like all out war against Fantastic Four and the Inhumans. I'm just guessing. But yeah. And in a previous video, I talked about second Genesis, which is very rare in the comics, I believe. And one of these being Inhumans that went through second Genesis was Gorgon, which I did not think they were going to give Gorgon a second Genesis, especially this early. I just assumed that they were just going to give Maximus the second Genesis storyline or whatever, but they didn't. They gave Gorgon his storyline, that's part of the storyline already, but it's kind of weird. But like I was saying about earlier, was Auron was going to heal Gorgon. The way I thought she was going to just do it was just like the magic hand things like she does, but instead they put poked a needle through some blood, put it in Gorgon, and then put Gorgon through his second Genesis. And this is where my gripe comes in. Gorgon's Terrigenesis. I'm not a comic book fan, but I kind of was disappointed. I was like the way they were building it up. I was expecting some sort of a different appearance, because in the comics, Gorgon, like I explained, he looked more beast-like. He has like in the comics, he has like red eyes. He has sharp claw-like hands. He has sharp teeth, like long hair, like it's just different. Then the way that they were building this up in like the shadows and all that kind of stuff, the groaning, like the growling, and then just to find out he looks exactly the same, kind of disappointing. But okay, but as far as I understand in the comics as well, this arc doesn't, or this character thing doesn't last long, so he's going to be back to normal by the end of the episode, by the end of the season finale. So he's not going to be a big threat. The Maximus is still going to be the big threat, I'm assuming. But this is a long shot. Long shot, like I said. We find out Black Bolt had a plan in place with Triton where he was going to send Triton down to Earth, and if you get into trouble, you have to fake your death and all that kind of stuff. Which, it's possible. But if I remember correctly, reading stuff like this is that in the Paul Jenkins run, this is loosely based off of, Medusa getting her hair shaved off by Maximus, is from the Paul Jenkins run from the 1990s, I believe. But they find out in a later issue in that story arc that Medusa was planning this whole time that she was going to get her hair shaved off, and she could just get it right back automatically, which obviously they're not doing it in the MCU. But it's possible this is like an influence where, oh yeah, you thought this was actually going to happen, it was actually happening, oh but no, you got tricked. So like how Medusa tricked Maximus into cutting her hair, Black Bolt tricked Maximus into killing Karnak or Triton, but Triton was not actually alive. I know it's a stretch, but still, uh, it's possible. Uh, and for predictions, the only predictions I have are that Maximus is going to get locked up by the end of the season. He, even though Black Bolt is so dead set on killing him, I can't see that actually happening, especially to uh, this type of villain. He he needs to stay around for a while. I don't want him to actually be just killed off right away. But anyway, and the other one is that he's not going to get the powers he wants. That's the obvious safe bet. He's not going to get the powers he wants. He's going to get the powers he gets from the comics, but that's not the one he wants. He's going to get something's going to go horribly wrong, like all like Terrigenesis, like you just get random powers. He's going to get a random power, even though he picks something else. But yeah, and honestly, I felt bad for Louise in this episode 6. Like her whole life, she's always wanted to go to the moon, and uh, she had her opportunity, and then it was taken away at the last moment, and that's kind of depressing. And especially when in this finale, she's not going to still do it either, because as we can tell, Adelon is being destroyed. So there goes her chance of going to the moon. So they're gonna, like I said in a previous video, is that Adelon is gonna blow up, or like, but in a different circumstance. But they're gonna have to go back to Hawaii and restart Adelon somewhere else, like somewhere in Hawaii, I'm assuming, or for the replacement of New York, because a lot of stuff happens in New York, and in the comics, that's where Adelon is above New York. But they're probably going to put Adelon, the new Adelon, in Hawaii somewhere, probably above Hawaii. But yeah, that's all I could think of. But anyway, comment down below if I missed any Easter eggs or references, and what do you have? What kind of predictions do you see in for the season finale, and the second season maybe? Because it is just a season finale, not a series finale. See ya.